Hi, my name is Spencer Aronfeld, and I'm with Lawyers to the Rescue. It's Thanksgiving, and it's time for members of our community to start giving back. Today we're at the Camillus House, where Lawyers to the Rescue is sponsoring a very special event. We're working with members of the Camillus House community and members of the homeless community of Miami to try to help them expunge their criminal records so that they can have an easier time re-engaging in the workforce and applying for jobs without being burdened with having a criminal record. I'm joined by two members of the law student community as well. I have Kristen Sanchalima, who's a third-year law student at FIU, soon to graduate. Thank you, Christian, for being here.
Happy to be here.
And this young lady, help me with your name.
Carly Zalella.
Who's a first-year law student at the University of Miami. And she'll be joining us, along with Christian and other members of the legal community, as we welcome Board of Director Scott Kotler, who will be conducting today's seminar. Scott? Scott is a board-certified criminal defense lawyer, and he will be presenting how members of the community can expunge their criminal records. Thank you, Scott.
Good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Scott Kotler. I'm a criminal defense lawyer. Many times in our clinics, people will come to me and they'll say, hey, I want to seal or expunge my record. Why? Well, they go for a job. As soon as somebody finds out, oh, they have a criminal record, they can't get the job. And it's a vicious cycle. And I think you all know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, the problem is the process to be able to seal and expunge is very specific. So what I want to do today is review with you what you need to do or have to be eligible to either seal or expunge your record. Now, the sad part is that many of you may not qualify. And that's the conclusion that I reach when I review many people's history. However, the good news is at least you walk away knowing whether you can do it or not. And if you can't, you at least know it and you move on. And if you can, then I'm going to help you do it. Now, to do so, the first thing we got to understand is, what does it mean to seal your record? What it means is, if somebody has committed a crime and has been convicted of it, whether you went to trial and you were convicted or whether you took a plea, and you received what's called a withhold of adjudication, which many first-time offenders will get, then you are eligible to seal your record, which means just what it says. Your record of that crime gets sealed. Now, if somebody does a background check, they'll be able to see something there, but they won't be able to see what it is. It's sealed.
What happens if you were charged but you wasn't and they dismissed it?
I'll get to that. That then sets you up for something better than sealing, and that is expunging. And what expunging means is it gets wiped out of the system altogether. It's like it never happened, okay? Now, here's the difficult part. Eligibility. Who is eligible to be able to seal or expunge? Number one, to seal, you can only have one conviction. One conviction, receive a withhold of adjudication for it. Also, that conviction cannot be for certain crimes. It used to be years ago you could seal anything as long as you received a withhold and that was your only conviction. The legislature has listed a number of crimes which, even if it's your only crime and you got a withhold, you still can't seal it. For example, drug trafficking, crimes of violence. Those you can't seal. Now, let's say you had one case and that charge, just hear me out for a second, that charge was dropped. Then you're eligible to expunge your record. What does it mean to expunge? It means it gets wiped out altogether. Same process is sealing, but instead of just sealing up what you have, it goes away, it disappears.
If it's a violent and they dismissed it.
Doesn't matter. It's different than sealing. If it's violent, it could be a murder case.
But they dismissed it.
They dismissed it, you are eligible to expunge it.
Okay, no matter if it's violent or not.
That is correct. Good point. Now, the issue is this, okay? Why do this? Well, we just indicated, because number one, it allows you to go for a job interview. They can't see your criminal history. Number two, it allows you to legally say and answer, I've never been arrested. And that's significant. Number three, okay, it puts you in a position where even for a credit check, you want to go for an apartment, somebody does a background, they see something there, they don't want to approve you for an apartment. So here, you're trying to get out of Camillus, you want to take that next step, you want to get into a place, they do a background check, they see something, they don't approve you. So this is significant. Now, there's some caveats. And what I mean by that is there's some things that you also got to know. Even if you seal or expunge your record, if you want to go for a federal job, law enforcement, work at a bank, anything that's a federal job, or law enforcement, they're going to do an FBI background check. An FBI background check will reveal whatever it is you have. The FBI does not seal or expunge their records. So you got to remember that one caveat. The second, there's a lot of companies, private companies out there that keep track of everybody that gets arrested. And what happens is when somebody goes and seals or expunges their record, those companies never know it. So they don't purge their records. So let's say you go for a job at a 7-Eleven. You've expunged an arrest that you had because the case got dropped. They do a background check, they use one of those companies, it shows up. They then turn to you and they say, hey, you told me you didn't have anything. Well, I had my record expunged or sealed. My lawyer told me I could legally say I didn't, and that's correct. But because they did a background check with that company which didn't purge their records, they still see it. So those are the caveats. But I still recommend if you're eligible to seal or expunge, you do it. And what I'll do is anybody that has that issue that wants to talk to me about whether they're eligible to seal or expunge, I'll meet with you, I'll go through your criminal history, I'll talk about what it is you're looking to seal or expunge, we'll see if you qualify, and if you do, I'm going to assist you in doing that process free of charge. And I have the applications here. Okay, any questions?
What happens if the officer runs you?
Officer runs you,
And you got to expunge. Will it come
and
up?
your record is expunged, the answer is no.
It won't come up.
Because when you get your record expunged, that order that the judge signs expunging your record goes to local law enforcement, the agency that arrested you. It goes to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. So it should not come up.
Because usually when they see a charge, but they don't know if you're innocent or guilty, but the charge is there.
Unfortunately,
So they seem to,
that's exactly what
so
happens.
they seem to get more, you know, they set you up and say you did this and you didn't.
You're on the street, you're standing on a corner. Officer comes up, what's your name? He runs you. He sees you have 3 or 4 arrests for disorderly, open container. You're right. Unfortunately, what's he going to do? He's going to give you a hard time.
Yeah.
If you got nothing, he's probably just going to go on his way. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it works. So if you got one thing on your record, and that's all you got, and you qualify to seal or expunge, it's a good
What
idea.
if you have more falsely charged?
If you have 2 convictions, you're not going to be
I
able.
got no convictions, but except for like disorderly conduct, open container.
Why don't we do this? When I'm done here,
Yeah.
I'll sit down with you, I'll go through everything you
Okay.
have, we'll see what you qualify
All right.
for. Question in the back.
How long does it take for your application to, rid of
6 months, beginning 10. Here's the process. Here's what I've got to go through as your lawyer. Number 1, we got to fill out the application. Number 2, I've got to get a certified copy of the disposition or the outcome of your criminal case. Number 3, if you're expunging, then we need to get a letter from the state attorney's office acknowledging the charge was dropped. We need to get your fingerprints done. That all goes into a package along with a check for $75, which, just so you know, any of you qualify and want to do the process, I'll pay that $75 for you, okay? We then send the application up to FDLE, Florida Department of Law Enforcement. They do a background check. And that background check takes about 4 or 5 months because they're backlogged. They see that you're eligible, they issue a certificate. And then with that certificate, it gets sent to me. I go to court, I show the state, I show the judge, you got the certificate, judge signs an order either sealing or expunging your record. That whole process I just described, beginning to end, takes about 6 months. Any other questions?
Yeah, isn't there a place where you, like, if I could go and they'd give me my record,
Yes, you can go to the clerk's office, give them your name, date of birth, they'll run you.
and I can get it, you don't have to wait that long, right?
Correct, but that's Dade County. If you got something in Broward or something out of state, it's not gonna show up in a local
I'm
check.
only worried about Dade County.
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
Yes,
So, do you do all this stuff by yourself, or we have to meet you places?
let's say you've got something you want to expunge. I could meet with you here, let's say at the next clinic, or even today if I see you qualified. We fill out the application. I would have to get the certified copy of your disposition for you. I need you to sign an affidavit, okay? We get it all together, we ship it out. I can do most of the work. I probably need to meet with you 1 or 2 times, and we could do it here at the clinic. It's doable. It's work. It's a fair amount of work on my part. More than happy to do it for you. Any other questions? In general. And once we're done with this, I'll answer any specific questions that each of you have.
Ready to go.
Ready to rock and roll?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Ready to go.